right, welcome to another episode of Piecing It Together, the podcast where we take a look at a new movie and try to figure out what movies might have inspired it. And today on the show, it's a weird one a little bit because what inspired the Odyssey? The Odyssey is something that inspired everything, but we're going to talk about that during the conversation. Our live conversation that took place over at Galaxy Theatres Boulevard Mall with guests Samantha Soriano, Mark Miller, and Jason Harris joining us as a last-minute fill-in for Kevin Martin, who we will get back on the show again sometime. But we had a really fun conversation over there at Galaxy Theatres Boulevard Mall, and we're going to get to that in just a minute. But before we get to it, I do want to remind you, as always, to make sure you are subscribed to Piecing It Together wherever you're listening right now, and follow us on social media at PiecingPod for more about all the movies that we talk about on the show, and also to find out when our next live show will be. So at PiecingPod on Instagram is where I'm most active. Also still on the Twitter, even though I try to stay off it for the most part. And of course on Facebook, you can find the Popcorn and Puzzle Pieces Facebook group where we have lots of fun chats about all these movies, and just started a top Nolan films thread on there right now. So let's get to our conversation about the Odyssey. All right, so I'm David Rosen, the host of the Piecing It Together podcast. We're going to get into the Odyssey, but before we do, I want to introduce my guests here. Jason Harris, last minute fill-in. We had somebody else, but they couldn't make it, so thank you, Jason, for being here.
Listen, I'm just here to not kill Apollo's sheep and get home safely before the night's over. That's it, man.
Yeah, that's a good thing to aspire to. Jason, tell everybody what you do and what you're up to.
Filmmaker, comedian. I host a million trivia nights around town, and I have a podcast, Awesome Movie Year, and I'm a new correspondent on CityCast.
There we go. Samantha Soriano, introduce yourself to everybody.
Hello, everyone. I'm, as David said, film theorist. I do a little bit of everything, but I do love film. I think that's like the main thing for me is I just love movies and pop culture. So, yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. And Mark Miller returning to the show only joins me for the big giant Nolan-style movies.
By the way, I called you David.
Everyone should, though.
Yeah,
No, I'm just everywhere.
Mark Miller?
Yeah, I'm Mark, or MN Miller's writing name, I guess. But yeah, I'm here.
There you
I
go.
come every 3 years to a Christopher Nolan live podcast with David.
There you go. Let's bring that mic in a little bit closer to you. I know I told you before, but you know. All right. So first thing I want to do before we start getting into puzzle pieces and we'll explain the whole show and do all that kind of thing, but I want to go down the line here. Just about a 20-minute drive from here, which, by the way, Galaxy Boulevard Mall, amazing theater. Thank you so much for having us out. But 20 minutes away, the Brendan Palms Theater is equipped with 70mm IMAX screenings of this movie that cost $54. Ooh. Are you guys going to see it again in 70mm IMAX?
I think I am. Honestly, I like this theater, but we all did ourselves a disservice tonight, and this theater did you a disservice by putting you on this screen. This was is this the only screen in the city that's showing this in a 4:3 ratio or something like that?
I don't know. I thought it looked good.
You could tell the frames were cropped in, and
really?
I just felt like I like the movie, but I want to see it the way it's supposed to be seen, and I feel like this
on a phone.
While I'm flying with my AirPods in and everything. So, but I just think this was a totally missed opportunity for all of us who were here tonight, and for my friend David with this podcast. Next time we fight them and you say, you put us in the good fucking theater, bro.
Is it actual film stock? Because I know certain places in the country have actual 70mm projections.
There's only 25 theaters in the country, and the Palms happens to be one of them.
Really? Is this recent?
Yes.
Yeah, they just upgraded it.
It's good to know. PSA.
You can see it on 70 at Town Square.
Town Square, and maybe another
Screening.
theater or two.
Yeah. Our screening on Tuesday had that.
Right on, yeah.
And did it look? What did you feel?
It looked great, but the audio, I was telling David, the first 120 minutes, every 8 minutes, the audio stopped.
Were you there?
Yeah.
We were laughing about that.
Yeah, stopped for 3 seconds every 8 minutes. It was the craziest.
Oh, so both of you already saw it then. So
yes.
we got two people on the panel who this is their second
and
time.
I do agree, though, the ratio was a lot better, but the audio sucked. Every 20 minutes or so, it was
And it wasn't an IMAX either, which they had an IMAX theater there, but they showed Moana or whatever that movie's.
I'm actually surprised that Nolan didn't go exclusive on IMAX for the first few weeks of this.
That's an interesting thing because that's something that hasn't been done before. And if anybody was going to do it, it would be Christopher Nolan. But I mean, that definitely cuts out a lot of movie theaters. I mean, what do we have? 3 in all of Las Vegas, and so
yeah. But I mean, I guess it's more of like that old school, rollout.
The rollout, yeah.
But I mean, you're all film people out there. Did you guys feel like we kind of lost something watching it like this?
Well, I mean,
we got fucked.
Michael says we got fucked. I honestly, I didn't notice an issue with it. I thought it looked great. Like, I didn't love the movie.
It looked good enough, but it could always be better.
Yeah, it looked. I mean, it just felt like we were cropped and like in tight, and I was like, I mean, it just. Can I give my first puzzle piece while I?
Sure. While you're doing all this,
it was a free ticket, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm doing my work now, right now, buddy.
Exactly.
So.
Yeah.
My first puzzle piece was Lawrence of Arabia because that's the last thing I could think of that I wasn't alive when it came out, but that every scene is swooping and epic and just going, 110 miles an hour. And I watched it at my house and I thought, why did I not see this as a restoration on the big screen? And I felt like I was watching this at my house tonight.
Jeez. Okay. All right. Well, projection issues aside, so for anybody who has not seen a Piecing It Together show before, what we do is we talk about the movie through the lens of what movies might have inspired it. And I was kind of joking with Mark before the show, like that's kind of a difficult thing with a story like the Odyssey, which has inspired like every freaking story like ever. So I was actually going to start off with my favorite Odyssey adaptation, and that is The Return from 2025, starring Ralph Fiennes, which for anyone who hasn't seen it, you kind of take away all of the kind of magical elements of the story and strip it down to a guy who is just really, really racked with the guilt of what he's been through and whether or not he actually wants to go home. Ralph Fiennes is freaking amazing in it. And, not to give anything away, I mean, it is the same essential story, but when you get to that final sequence, I think blows this movie out of the water as far as how Odysseus's return to that place is and how violent it is and how amazing it is. But that being said, kind of underseen movie, underappreciated. It came out the same year that he was getting all the awards for Conclave, and which is also amazing. But more people should see that movie. So I wanted to start off with that one. Have any of you seen The Return?
No, that guy. I'm like Ralph Fiennes.
It went super under the radar for some reason, and it's freaking fantastic. So
Okay.
I love
I've recommended it to
Fiennes,
you many times, Jason.
It's on my watch list here.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Ralph Fiennes, hopefully this year gets his long overdue Oscar for Bone Temple or
hell yeah, that would rock.
He's just
Never
been
happened,
cooking
yeah.
for,
Sure.
probably forever, but at least the last 10 or 15 years he hasn't
So good.
missed with what he's been doing.
So good. Let's go to you, Samantha, since we just heard from Jason.
Gotcha. I feel like, kind of like you're saying, the Odyssey has inspired so many different films, so many different epics. Mine is, I would say, kind of based off it, maybe a more Nordic, which is the Northman.
Yeah, on my list too.
Yeah, I would say it's just a sadder outcome, because like in this case, Odysseus reunites with his family and whatever. And then in the Northman, he like sacrifices himself essentially to make sure he gets rid of the evil. So,
Spoilers.
yeah.
We gotta spoil.
Yeah.
It's 3 years old. Whatever.
Yeah.
Well, I had the Northman on there for the technical reasons of like the shipbuilding and the accuracy and making sure it looked the way it was supposed to look, which I thought they did a really good job of here.
I also think it's interesting because Nolan is normally the strip it down guy and make it like kind of realistic and gritty, but here we get the Cyclops, and we get like all the witch and all this other kind of stuff, and so he's kind of like leaning into the more magical elements of the story, more like something like that Robert Eggers would do.
Yeah, no, definitely Nolan's a minimalist. Batman, Dark Knight,
But
Dark
he
Knight
does.
Rises.
The whole point of those movies was, what if Batman was a real thing? I mean, that was like his approach to the whole thing.
I mean, to be honest, the Nolan Batmans are my favorite. I don't know about anybody else, but I also do think my husband actually brought this up when we saw it. He said that he thought the editing was very Oppenheimer, which maybe that's just the editing style that Nolan is kind of wanting to go through. So
yeah, it does feel very in conversation with the way that he made that film, and I don't know, maybe that'll come up some more later. But Mark, let's go to you.
A lot of people are going to reference the technical aspect and the big sweeping epics. But the thing I noticed about this film was a lot more emotional than most of his like almost cold clinical films that I come across.
Yeah.
And a lot of that had to do with like when he wrote scripts with his brother. I forget his name. I think it's Jonathan. But
Jonathan Nolan.
You know, Interstellar. Was like probably his most emotional film. And this one I want to like, and we were talking about this a couple of months ago when we were talking about are we going to do an Odyssey podcast, and what you said back then and now, it's like how do you inspire the Odyssey? Like the Odyssey has inspired everything.
Yeah.
It's like the Bible, the Odyssey, and now Christopher Nolan.
Yeah.
You know, it goes in that order.
Yeah.
So for me, it's almost like like for Oppenheimer, all his technical stuff he was working on beforehand, like was practice for Oppenheimer.
Yeah.
I almost think his scripts are the focus of almost inspired by the Odyssey. Because think of every male character in like Memento, The Prestige, Interstellar, like all these men regret what they did.
Sure.
And a big theme of this was like, you know, these Greek epics are about, you know, loyalty and like toxic masculinity and honor. But a big theme of this one was shame.
Yeah.
And so I think like movies like Memento and like throughout his filmography really inspired this movie.
Yeah, no, I think it definitely is a through line through his career, and especially Oppenheimer. I think that was one that I was thinking about bringing up here, is because I mean this is somebody who's kind of completely regretting what they've done, because it's not just the war; it's like the defying, was it Zeus's law or whatever, and like from him doing that, now we've got hundreds and hundreds of years of everybody doing that basically, and just everything. Being inspired by awfulness, basically, and that's kind of the point of the whole story here. So it definitely goes back to exactly what he was talking about with Oppenheimer and like that final moment and everything.
I had Memento also for the kind of parallel of Odysseus and Guy Pearce not being able to remember the day before or whatever, having to figure out their whole life through the help of another character.
Well, that ending was like, did he not remember, or was he just trying to block it out himself? This one.
Right on.
I just want to point out I brought up Memento first.
You sure did.
You get the points for
but
that
I will
one.
remember that tomorrow.
Well, that's true.
That's true. Let's we kind of got a bunch of Nolan in here, so let's move back around to Samantha here.
Going kind of what you had mentioned, kind of a religious route, is The Last Temptation of Christ. Yeah. Just kind of questioning your own beliefs and your own like actions and outcomes. I think it goes hand in hand, because I feel like back in the day, the Greeks, this was like their religion, I guess, you know, the law of Zeus. I also do think that Nolan did a great job with, like, I guess, how do I phrase this? That I'm a very big fan of directors who can try to make historical things into their own modern takes. And I do think kind of what he had mentioned earlier about maybe not giving more of a clarification at the beginning, but I also think that gives the audience and maybe younger viewers more curiosity to go check out the history books, go, you know, read about the actual Odyssey. So I do like that, you know, Scorsese made Last Temptation his own thing, and then Nolan made the Odyssey his own thing.
It's also interesting when a filmmaker, like, it's not entirely certain how much they believe of what they're showing, but they want to like portray it in some way on screen. And I think that's something that, you know, the questions are there within something like Last Temptation, and what exactly the way that he portrays the gods in this, I think all kind of.
Well, I mean, with this whole like criticism of what he decided to do with the casting and what he decided to do with adding, like, I would say the fact that Travis Scott opened up this film to me was kind of insane. And I feel like it's the same reception that like Scorsese was getting with like Harvey Keitel as like Judas, and it's like, this is just weird, but it also works. I don't know.
Like, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was going to ask, do you think Travis Scott was influenced by the burning of all those people?
Yeah, he knows how to, I guess.
He knows how to burn a lot of
sacrifice.
Hey. What were you going to say, Mark?
I don't know now. The casting here was so distracting at times. I almost thought Matthew McConaughey was at the dinner table during this, because the one guy looks just like him. I'm like, was that Matthew McConaughey? I had to cut it in my review because I learned later it was not. It was almost like the Thin Red Line. You had so many faces, recognizable faces in here. It was just distracting at times. I almost thought.
I think that's fair.
I think that's fair because, like, obviously the thing that people online are complaining about is just pure bullshit, where they don't want black people.
Know what everyone's.
Yeah, basically the worst parts of the internet were very mad that there were black people in this movie because of the setting. They were very mad that Elliot Page was in this movie. What else?
Who
were
was
they mad
great
about?
in the movie, by the way. He was
just
fantastic.
everything. But I mean, ultimately, it's like a fantasy. It's like, yeah, because the Cyclops actually exists. You know? Like,
Totally. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
And Matt Damon's Irish, so I don't think he would have been in that neighborhood either.
Or Tom Holland.
But I do think, though, to your point, though, like, while those issues are bullshit, the casting was a little over the top with the recognizable people. Where, like, I do think that they were, every scene, you're like, oh, there's them. There's that person. We keep getting these people instead of, like, kind of disappearing into this mythical epic.
Yeah, the art of a character actor like went away 20 years ago.
Yeah,
you know?
right.
I mean, there was all that heat because he cast Lupita Nyong'o, who's a great actor, but she really had nothing to do.
She didn't have
with
anything to do in this.
So,
No, not at all.
A couple decent scenes.
Yeah. On the Scorsese point, that's when you were saying, how Nolan kind of influences film and influences himself. That's what I was thinking of Scorsese as that reference point of the director.
And that's what she brought up with Temptation
so
of Christ.
that's why. Yeah, that's what I mentioned. So.
Let's go to another one over there, Mark.
It's weird. I was trying to think of things because, like you said, Odyssey influenced everything.
Yeah.
But I read that the Robert Pattinson character, the characterization was inspired by James Woods' character in Casino.
Okay.
It's actually out there.
Scorsese movie.
More
yeah,
Scorsese,
and
yeah.
I thought he is kind of that character, very immature, just self-centered, greedy. So like a pimp character almost.
Yeah.
Basically. But I always thought it was interesting because James Woods, not a lot of people know this, he owned the rights to American Prometheus for the Oppenheimer. He was a producer on that movie. But he kind of they took him off all the award circuit because of all the controversy with his political beliefs. So I thought that was interesting with the Nolan inspiration there and his history with James Woods.
Right on. Yeah, I also really liked Robert Pattinson yelling about the beggar. Like, that was good.
Yeah.
So, I'll throw a Platoon in here as far as war making people just like lose their humanity and like just how it like tears themselves apart and everything like that. And I thought a lot of that was really like, I think that's like the main reason for this movie to happen. I think more so than, I want to make a Cyclops and I want to make all these like giant like I think he wanted to explore that part of this character, and I think that it kind of like really fits into what he was going for with this movie, which again, like we've said, is kind of continuation of what he was doing with Oppenheimer. Yeah. One more from you, Jason.
I mean, Dave, you had brought up adaptations of the Odyssey, so I'm going to go with my favorite adaptation of the Odyssey, which is "Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?"
Hell yeah.
Which is, I mean, what's cool about this is you could definitely feel that it was Nolan's take and an original take, and there is no more original take on the Odyssey than "Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?"
No.
Do not seek the treasure. So, Coen Brothers, another, iconic and influential directing tandem. Come back together, guys. Come back, Coen Brothers. We need you together.
We need it. We also need. They've rumored for years. This is a total aside, but that they're going to do a horror movie when they come back together. And Nolan had never really done anything horror, but that witch sequence was freaking great. That was the best part of the movie. I thought.
agree.
So
I agree. I said the same
Samantha
thing.
Morton was fantastic.
she's so
in that
good.
scene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, she really killed that, and the effects in that were just fantastic. So yeah, really cool part.
Speaking of filmmaker brothers, did you find the choice of Benny Safdie as that was such a weird
And the way that they didn't reveal his face, what was that all about?
because he can't act.
That's
why.
exactly it. And I've
No,
said it on
exactly.
this podcast before. He's just mid at every.
It's like, did Nolan lose a bet or something? I don't understand what happened.
It was very
You couldn't
strange.
find any of all the actors who wanted to play roles in this movie. You couldn't find anyone else for.
I've
know.
defended Benny Safdie against you, Jason, but it was very strange that they just didn't show his face for no apparent
Well,
reason.
that's the thing. I thought it was really cool because you see this entity, and like at first, like obviously when all the characters are being introduced, I was like, it's giving like Robert Pattinson energy, but then the back of his head had curly hair, so I'm like, this has to be the Safdie brother. And then when he, I was like, He's not that cool.
He's like dark and mysterious, but Benny Safdie is the least dark and mysterious person.
But when he
ever.
talks, it's like he makes every syllable seem so effortful.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like
This is
just
not
drove me
a
nuts
this is
for that
not
little
a
part,
Benny
yeah.
Safdie.
You know, but
fan base.
if you're
not.
gonna look at this movie and do a compare and contrast of like another guy who had 2 scenes and maybe one big one, and then you get to like one of the best actors around, John Bernthal, like, you know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
he just owns everything that he's in, and it's like, you know, that's the level that these guys should and mostly are playing at.
That's another actor that people were kind of like, what the hell's he doing in this movie for? And I thought he was
He could be
fine.
in anything.
Yeah, he was fine. So yeah. One more over there, Mark.
Oh, geez. It's really hard to think of ones in here.
Yeah.
I really don't know.
No. Yeah.
Paddington?
Paddington. Yeah. I mean, you always have to bring that up in these
Yeah.
podcasts.
I do that every podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Because of the animals.
yeah, because of the animals, or maybe something with the witch scene. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll go
okay.
with that.
All right, let's move it on to some audience participation. We do have some T-shirts to give out, so I see a hand right over here.
I immediately thought of the Percy Jackson, both books and movies. So things like Lightning Thief, Sea of Monsters. I mean, just with the Cyclops, sirens, witches, being fed the lotus and falling into a trance. There were just like so many like going to Hades. So many iconic moments pulled from like Greek mythology.
Sure.
And put into it, just like Percy Jackson.
There you go, Percy Jackson. Absolutely, I think something inspired by the Odyssey, and then back around in the circle here.
Definitely.
So definitely, right here.
So this is more inspired by like the Odyssey. The first SpongeBob movie.
Oh boy.
Big one.
All right.
Like, it's obviously a lot of kids' introduction to something like the Odyssey, and it can be very important. But I wouldn't be surprised either if he took inspiration from older Odyssey movies. Watch them or whatever. But that's all.
Yeah, no, I think if you're going to take on a story like this, even if it's not taking specific inspiration from specific adaptations, he's got to at least like look at the list and like make a mental note of what has been done before, because there's a lot, as we've said here before.
Going off of that, I had the Green Knight on my list because you're taking
that's a good one.
well-known, epic, kind of oral history or written history also been passed down and kind of made into its own, and the art and the story kind of have to match in that regard.
Right on. Right over here.
I mean, obviously I think 1997 version of the Odyssey with Armand Assante.
Okay.
Yeah. But regarding Benny Safdie, I was just reminded that he also starred in Good Time with Robert Pattinson. Which could have been, Nolan looking at Good Time and saying, hey, this propulsive action shit, these two guys, they got it going on.
Good Time is fantastic for anyone who hasn't seen it, and that's where Robert Pattinson just kind of just shed, the Twilight image and just became this like one of the most exciting actors out, and fantastic movie. And yeah, Benny Safdie's great in that.
Well, you probably know more than I do about it, but he's kind of, I'm not going to say a protege of Nolan, but I know he's on set learning from Nolan at those, whenever he's filming.
He was perfectly good. He was in Oppenheimer, right?
Yeah.
That's Safdie. Right?
Another movie with a million actors in it. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But it's just, I don't know, just you need like some gravitas in that role. I don't know, it just didn't work for me. I guess
Fair
that's a nitpicking thing. One movie I forgot I wrote down. It seems like The Bourne Identity. Like you really need an actor who can honestly. Because the third act is like action scenes left and right.
Yeah.
And a lot of these great actors, Robert Downey Jr., like a Marvel movie, it's all CGI staged. Like you really need someone who like knows that world and can act at the same time. And I think like you put anyone else in that role, I don't think you would sell those action scenes as well.
Yeah, he's definitely a good choice for it in many ways. He's a great actor when he gets a chance to be, and he can do the action and all of that stuff. Yeah. So he's got all of it. I think I saw a hand right here.
Yeah, the part of the story where we actually hear him lament, the great breaking of Zeus's law and like how he sees himself because he spoke his idea out loud, causing this cascade of just now it's gone, the golden rule is gone. reminded me a lot of Hunger Games, the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes.
Okay.
Because there's Peter Dinklage's character is the person who came up with the idea for the Hunger Games. And he's very tormented by the fact that he gets to watch generation after generation of children kill each other.
Mm-hmm.
And kind of like beginning something that you see you lose control of.
Sure.
And I thought that was...
I have actually never seen any of the Hunger Games movies, but based on what you're saying there, like that totally makes sense to me and goes to a lot of what we're talking about with a lot of the guilt that this character has for what he's kind of set in motion. And,
you call yourself a cinephile?
I know. I've managed to skip
I've
out
actually
on
never
all
seen
those.
one either. But, yeah.
We'll see what
I
happens.
We'll
feel
get jackets made.
Yeah.
One thing I haven't seen anyone bring up, which I'm sure like it's like someone thought about it already, is my third pick was Frankenstein, the Del Toro one.
Okay.
And I mean, with the Cyclops, it's giving Pan's Labyrinth and
Sure.
the creature with the eyes. And I mean, Nolan did say that like his big inspo for the Cyclops monster was to kind of take freedom and liberty of like Guillermo's inspiration for monsters that he creates, and
Yeah.
it was pretty cool.
Yeah, and the fact that he did it, I believe, all practical is, that who does better practical than, Guillermo del Toro. So
He did this all practical.
I believe so. Isn't it a giant puppet? That's what I thought I read.
It's a 60-foot puppet in a cave. They did,
Yeah.
but Bill Irwin
Yeah.
did the
Emoting.
I guess.
The look of the crepey skin was
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
eerie, and it did remind me of Pan's Labyrinth with the fingers and the eyes and the hand.
It also reminded me of King Kong when they have to like sneak past his big hand and stuff like that. So, right over here.
Also, Clash of the Titans.
Yeah.
Obviously the 1981 one, but the new one as well.
Yeah.
Just kind of looping back to Percy Jackson with mythological creatures, but also when they cut the statue's head off. That's like directly from the 1981 version.
Sure.
Her head rolling and then facing the main character. So
Absolutely. I love that. Right over here.
And I was thinking about the Cersei scene, which is probably the best scene in the movie.
Yeah.
Society, 1989.
Yes. Hell yeah. Tell us a little more about Society, Michael. Gross us all out.
It's about suburbia and bringing people together, quite literally. And there's a big old orgy at the end where all these characters get mushed together and they get transformed, and it's gross and fucked up. And that was the Cersei scene. It was the most gross, fucked up thing I've ever seen from Nolan.
Yeah. Absolutely. Great to see him do some horror for a change. And that whole sequence was just super gross. And
Also, were y'all at all let down by the Scylla? I don't know how to describe it, the multi-headed thing.
It was very
brief.
very anticlimactic.
Yeah.
Underwhelming.
Yeah. The Kraken in the newer Clash of the Titans was even better than that.
whole body was gonna pop out of the cave.
Yeah.
You couldn't.
So, any more before we get into some closing thoughts here? Anyone wants? All right over here.
I just am going back to a movie from the early 80s called Excalibur.
Excalibur, yeah. Absolutely.
With some of the characters and the creatures. But I think the storyline itself kind of reminds me of the Count of Monte Cristo.
Count of Monte Cristo as well. Yeah, those both go right into this kind of an adventure story, and especially Excalibur, I think, is one that had kind of come to mind for me as well.
Land Without a King.
Sure. Yeah, as the king in a return and all that stuff, and the trial to prove himself and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, you get a lot of that stuff. Also, add a little bonus puzzle piece in that I was thinking about. Deep Blue Sea for the Travis Scott rap song in the end credits. So.
That was weird.
Yeah.
I had a weird one.
Yeah.
My other puzzle piece was Tom Cruise, because other than him, I haven't seen an actor run as much over the course of an hour. Like, they were just running for an hour straight in this one. I'm like, Tom Cruise totally missed his chance. This is what he loves to do right here.
Tom Cruise would have been good, absolutely. One more over
I
here?
gotta say, a Castaway.
Castaway.
Very intense weather,
Sure.
flooding scenes,
Yeah.
splashing, drowning, and then when he gets separated from like his best man kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's like, Wilson.
Yeah.
When the boats are drifting apart.
Mm-hmm.
Come back.
Oh, yeah.
This movie is definitely going to earn a spot on doesthedogdie.com.
Oh, yeah. Well, also another thing from my first puzzle piece, The Return,
Oh,
the
yeah.
dog scene was even better and The Return. So everyone go watch The Return. Anyway, closing thoughts, Jason.
I think they match my opening. Like, I'm not always a huge Nolan fan. I think he overwrites a lot of the time, but this was pretty.
How dare you?
Tenet? You want to go into Tenet?
That's one of my least favorite.
Yeah. So, but I thought this was like, top 3, top 4 Nolan, and like I don't usually get out of movies and be like, oh man, I want to see it again right away. But the other night I was at home with my daughter, and I actually said this earlier on CityCast today, and we watched Project Hail Mary, which I hadn't seen before, and I was like, dude, how did I miss this on a big screen, right?
You missed the live show here at Galaxy Theatres Boulevard Mall.
Well, if it was on this screen, that wouldn't have bothered me that much. But that's why I want to go see this again. I mean, I know I'll be immersed with the story and everything, but I really just want to kind of let the cinema wash over me on that one.
All right, how about you, Samantha?
I'm on the same boat as him. Not like the biggest Nolan fan, enjoy some of his films. I would say Odyssey falls on like top 3 for sure, for me at least. And yeah, I mean, just going back to kind of what I said earlier is, the kids are going to the movies now just to go see the Odyssey, to go see Travis Scott, which for the mainstream, cool for the movies.
Is that really a selling point for
unfortunately, yeah.
You know what? They come into Wax Trax Records with Travis Scott all the time.
No, but that's what he does.
Yeah,
official vinyl.
They'll come to the movies to see him. Why not?
Well, what was it that Nolan had said that he chose him as kind of like the jester vibe of that era of like the entertainer, and he says that rappers are like poets. I don't know that I'm not the one that said that. He said that. So.
Yeah, but I mean, it makes sense what he was going for with that, and I thought he was fine in the movie. I thought he did good. So, Mark, any closing thoughts?
I did a little puzzle piece. It's almost like an outline of a rom-com. Matt Damon is married to Anne Hathaway. He ruminates about Zendaya for 20 years, and he's stuck on a stranded island with Charlize Theron. Like, dude, get over yourself. Right? It could be worse.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on. I thought it was great. You can go read my review at insessionfilm.com. There we go. Great.
That's a plug.
I thought it was a very, very entertaining movie. I think it's just, I'm so grateful we get to live in a world where we get to watch a Christopher Nolan movie. Because, like, even if you don't like the movie, you don't think it's great, it's just an experience.
Yeah.
I think so. And, I think it's just a great summer tentpole movie. And I think it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, and like I'm a little mixed on it overall, but at the same time, like
we're not perfect. It's okay.
Yeah, no one's perfect. Yeah. But no, this is what we want. We want like somebody like Christopher Nolan to make big movies that aren't just superhero movies for us to go out to the theater and that have a lot of substance and have something there to see.
Put a spin on it.
Yeah,
I mean,
obviously Spielberg gets a lot of the kind of comparison with him, but I feel like David Lean is the apt comparison with this guy, like making those huge swooping epics that. Who knows how they've accomplished what they accomplished.
He masters a different genre like almost every time. It's really impressive.
Maybe we'll get the full-on horror movie at some point after this one, but
you're really pushing.
I am, because that scene was so damn good. But Jason, where can people find you and everything you're up to?
Like I said, I have a film podcast, Awesome Movie Year. I'm almost done on production on a documentary, which will be hopefully playing all over, but we'll definitely do a premiere out here for it. Am often on Piecing It Together and happy to be a new member of CityCast. Come play trivia. I'm on Instagram, Jason Harris Comedy, and Letterboxd Go for Jason.
How about you, Samantha?
Definitely follow me on Letterboxd. Looking to always comment on people's reviews, have interactions on Letterboxd, because that's probably the most used social media app I have.
Then Netflix bought it.
Don't bring that up.
Yeah.
That's true.
And also my film page, looking to also be a little bit more active on there. But I'm one of the managers at the Beverly Theater. The reason I bring that up is because we're doing Stream Strike right now. So if you cancel your subscription, we'll give you as many tickets as your subscription costs. So if you want to come watch a movie for free, come through, come visit.
What if I just want to be Joe Lombardo?
Yeah,
You can do that too.
Too.
Absolutely. By the way, speaking of Letterboxd, I think they added a new feature just for this movie. It's like a digital punch card for all the versions that you saw. the 70 millimeter, the IMAX, the piecing it together podcast.
I did see that. I did see that.
Yeah.
What is your?
I was like, what a genius! I didn't give the ads. My letterbox is at Sam Based, and then my film page is Film School Textbook.
Right on. How about you, Mark?
You can check out my work at my Author page, MN Miller. I'm on Instagram, TikTok. It's a thriving page. Really. I write for Fandom Wire, Geek Vibes Nation, In Session Film. Used to write for Ready Steady Cut. So, you can find my above average rating on those platforms.
Very good. Well, we haven't announced our next show here yet, but we will be very soon. So keep an eye out at Piecing Pod for all the info on our next show. And everybody, thank you so much for being here tonight.
Hi, this is Wax Trax Records here on 2909 South Decatur. We buy all your old 45s, your old albums, any type of music memorabilia. Also, we sell music memorabilia, albums, CDs, and a lot. Come on down to Wax Trax, 2909 South Decatur, or give me a call at 702-362-4300. Thank you very much.
All right, so I hope you enjoyed that conversation about the Odyssey. Thank you so much to Samantha Soriano, Mark Miller, and Jason Harris for joining me on that one. Thank you to Galaxy Theatres Boulevard Mall for having us out. It was an amazing time over there at Galaxy Theatres. We hope to be back there again soon. And thank you to everyone who showed up for the show. I know there's a lot of formats out there between the IMAX 70 millimeter, the regular 70 millimeter, and regular screenings. So there's a lot of choices out there, but a bunch of people came to watch it with us, and we do appreciate you all for being there. And of course, if you're listening to this on the podcast, thank you for listening. Also, make sure you are subscribed because we got a lot of episodes on the way. It's funny, like next week, the drama, the Super Mario Galaxy movie, and Mortal Kombat 2 all hit streaming. All three are episodes I've had in the can waiting for a good time to release. And now I don't know what release order I'm going to do because they all come out at like the same damn time. Anyway, those three, a bunch of other episodes that I've already recorded, a whole lot of podcasts on the way. So make sure you're subscribed wherever you're listening. And of course, follow us on social media at Piecing Pod and join the Facebook group Popcorn and Puzzle Pieces to find out about everything else that we're up to with piecing it together. So with that said, let's close this out with a piece of music like I always do. And I've got plenty of epic music that I could go to close us out today. Let's see, what should I go with? I'm going to go with a pretty epic sounding piece from my last compilation album that came out, Missing Pieces, which was back in 2024, where I combined a bunch of music from stuff that hadn't come out on previous albums and was not going to come out on my next album, but needed a home. And so I kind of put them all together into this compilation album. And this is a track called The Last Stand. It's actually the last track on the album. I think this is epic enough for playing us out for the Odyssey today. So let's go with The Last Stand. Hope you enjoy it, and we will be back with more piecing it together real soon.
an All Points West production, produced by David Rosen in Las Vegas.